it's winter, but it doesn't mean that you and your garden need to be completely dreary. These little guys are called Cyclamen. Now, when you pop into your local garden centre, you're going to find them all over, mainly in the indoor section where they're kind of protected. So, two things here. One, yes, you can use them as a house plant, but the second thing is also maybe be a little bit adventurous and pop them outside in some really prominent areas of your garden where you can just brighten things up. The main thing about a cyclamen is that it's actually a bulbous plant. So in summer, it's dormant, okay, so it dies down. And in winter, when the temperatures get cooler, well, then it pushes up these beautiful leaves. So I want to show you the essence of what this plant is. I've popped it out the pot here, and take a look. I'm going to open up this soil over here. Look at that. Okay, but now, right down here, in the heart of the plant, it's got a bulb, it's got a corm. And that is the reason why generally we kill them. It's because with bulbs, you can't overwater them. If you overwater them, what happens is this corm, which is really nice and solid, ends up rotting. And that's the primary reason why these little guys die. The other reason why they die is because we don't deadhead them and prune them. Now, as soon as you see the flower starting to go over, grab a pair of either scissors or a pair of secateurs, whichever you feel more comfortable with, and this is the part that's critical. You're not going to cut it off over here and leave the stem. You want to go all the way down, follow the stem right down to where it actually comes out of the soil. Pop your scissors in there, and because this is soft, scissors will do, and just cut it off like that. And I guarantee you, by doing that to your plant, you are going to make this plant live way longer. When you've got any bulbous or corm-like plant, you really want to water, lift the leaves up, and you want to water there. Okay, and you see how the water's actually running off? You've got to put little bits. That's why I'm using this wee little watering can, where I just put little bits in it at a time. Don't be afraid of cyclamen. They really are awesome. Now, in some of your previous action lists that we've told you to get to, we showed you how to fill up the patches in your lawn by sowing seed. Now, if you're not too confident, or if you haven't kind of got to that step yet in gardening, then I'm going to show you another way, because nobody wants to end up with patches like this in your lawn. So, what is it? Well, it's with these guys over here. It's called lawn plugs. So, what I've done here is I've actually just evened out the area where we're going to be putting in these little plugs. So, in here, I've got a mixture of lawn dressing and some bone meal, and what I need to do is make sure that I've got this really well dug in. Now remember, the same thing, if you've got dogs, don't use the bone meal. Somebody asked me the other day, but I've got Yorkies and we use the bone meal, but we see you using loads of bone meal and you've also got Yorkies. Well, I don't know, I think the Hardy-Dars are way more impressive than the bone meal, which is why they don't dig. I don't know how it is or how it works, but listen folks, if you've got dogs, rather use superphosphate or a planting fertilizer like 2,3,4. All right, that's all well mixed. I'm good to go. Now, get your garden little fork and turn some of the soil. Now you can see this is pretty clay in here. And you know what? All we want to do is just turn it over gently. Okay, so now let's take some of this beautiful mixture and we're going to pop it into our hole over here. So you see, I'm popping it in and then I'm just leveling it out using the back end of my little trowel. And the reason why we do that is because compost, potting soil, lawn dressing is bark-based. And so it's got a lot of air particles in it. So if you don't do that and you plant your little guys in here, once you've watered it, it all just sinks. And then you get the wrong level that you're wanting. And then you end up with these kind of dongas all in your lawn. And now we go to our tray and literally we can just pop these little guys out. Easiest way of doing it is just turning it over. You see where these little cavities are? They're made out of polystyrene. You can literally just pop your finger in there. And as you do that, you see, check that, bang, out they pop. Way easy, okay? Out they come, and look. There is an individual little kikuyu plug. So, this is the easy part. Really, you've done all your prep, make a little cavity, pop the little baby in, and just firm it in. Take another little guy, and you know what? Depending on what your budget is And depending on how quickly you want to cover this area, you can go really wild and put them very close together, or you can use the recommendation, which is 20 centimeters apart. And doing it with 20 centimeters will cover your lawn, this entire area, or cover the soil rather, within 6 to 8 weeks. And that is a guarantee. So pop these little guys in. All right, I'm happy with that. Now, just to make sure that we firm it down again, just do that. Okay, I'm not beating the plants, no, we're just doing this over here, just to make sure that the little roots that we've planted in there get into contact. If there were any air pockets, they've really now compacted. Last bit to do, give it a good watering. Make sure you water this guy probably every day, all right, at least for the first 2 weeks, until those little roots have really started taking and getting in there. And then give it a fertilizing about 3 weeks later with something like 713 or 321, just encourage it to get growing a bit quicker. Many of you have these little guys already growing in your garden, and that's because you've been following the gardener. We told you to plant your pansies. Now, here's the thing. Some of you might be looking at pansies in your local garden centre and they're already full of flower, and you might be thinking, oh, is that okay? Can I plant little guys like this that already got flowers on them? Well, here's the thing. There are a couple of plants that you buy when they're green. There are others that you buy when they're in flower, and you can be 100% sure that they're going to carry on flowering in your garden. And pansies and violas fall directly into that category. Now, I've already planted some in my garden here, and I want to fill in now because I'm getting impatient. I've got some compost here mixed with some bone meal. I'm just going to sprinkle it around these little guys, because every time you plant, you want to make sure that you're using some compost. Every opportunity that you get to be in your garden and get digging, you want to make sure that you add in compost. Now, because I don't have much space to work around these, I'm going to use this little guy. Just turn it in. That's what I want. Okay, now, I've got my awesome little planting tool. All you do, poke it in, turn it round a bit like that. You can pop the little guy in and firm it round, and look at that color already. The mauve with the yellow, beautiful contrasting colors. That's what we want to play on. And remember, always think about that when you're working in your garden, as to what can I pop in there that'll just add a whole lot of value. Now, who can not love these guys? Looking gorgeous. And now I feel a whole lot happier, and I'm sure you do as well.